Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We are now on day 4 of our journey of self-improvement. My name is Ruben, and a while back, I was at the rock bottom in my life. And if you want to know what that was like, well, maybe you've heard of the analogy of being a hamster in the wheel. So you're the little hamster and you're running around and the wheel's spinning in circles. Well, that was me, except for that the wheel was my mind. It was the obsessive thinking. And being in the situation, the worst situation of my life, again, rock bottom, it forced me into action. But in the moment that, I was at that point, I needed something extremely simple and I needed it desperately so. Because if there was any difficulty to the task, any obstacle to whatever method I was going to use, I would not have done it. It would not have been accomplished. So I learned some very basic tools that were extremely powerful, and now I'm sharing them with you. And the reason I want to do this is because even though these tools are so powerful, I don't find them out there very much. And I think the reason for that is that many people are actually beyond this level. But I wanted to make a channel for people who may be at the same point that I was at. So anyways, in the prior 3 days, we have gone through some techniques. And the first one we covered, I just want to review these, was introducing little bites of mindfulness into your life. And so this was done through saying something like, when you're washing your hands, feel the water on your hands, smell the soap. Introduce a little bit of mindfulness. And remember, I do have videos on all of these, so if you want to see the complete video, you can go ahead and check my channel and see them. The next one was mantras, the power of mantras, of programming our mind. So a lot of times, when I didn't even realize it before, but 95% of my thinking was negative thinking. Well, how do you reprogram your mind? Well, you have to think positive thoughts. And to do that, you can use mantras. And a very simple one to use that I started off with, I hear is very common, is every day and in every way, I'm getting better and better. Today, I just adopted a new one, which is to the pure, all is pure. Now, I believe that is in the New Testament, and it's also a Hermetic saying. So you could come up with your own. The third one that we did just yesterday was the stop method. Stop method is when you have the runaway thoughts, it's just a runaway train. How do you stop it, right? Well, first thing you do is you stop whatever you're doing. You can say it out loud or say it in your head. Stop. Take a breath. Observe. Notice how your body feels. And then proceed. So those are the methods we covered. Again, if you haven't seen the videos, I would suggest them, but know that they don't have to be done in any specific order. The one we're going to discuss today, though, is a little bit paradoxical. At least it was for me at the time, and I will explain why. And that is the Nike slogan, "Just do it." I just have to laugh at it because I've heard that slogan all my life and I never got it. I never, ever got it. But it's true. Just do it, right? It's so weird. It's so weird how when you're a skeptic all your life, you just blow off everything like I did, right? Oh, someone says this, someone says this. No, don't want to hear anything, right? Always doubting everything. And then when you're forced to actually open your eyes and wake up a little bit, you're like, wow, such power and such simple ideas, okay? Now, you might wonder, why did I say it was paradoxical earlier? Well, because if you were like me, then the whole issue was that I couldn't really do anything, okay? Or at least that is what I told myself when I was back in that state. You see, the mind made a mountain out of every single molehill, and the grass was always greener over on the other side. Just picking a restaurant to eat at would have induced a panic attack. And the only safe bet for an action was something that was self-numbing or stimming, addictive behaviors. From the bad, alcohol and drugs, to the good, which still really aren't good, mindlessly playing video games, mindlessly reading, mindlessly scrolling on your phone. Yet, in order to get anywhere in life, you must do something. Now, a favorite quote of mine from Krishna to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita goes something as follows. Arjuna, there's nothing in the 3 worlds that I ought to do, nor anything for me to achieve that I have not already achieved. yet I continually find I am doing things. In my personal experience, mental illness breeds and grows with inaction. When I was in my last and worst depressive episode, I couldn't even get out of bed. My eyelids were just too heavy to open, and if I could have, I would have shut off my thinking completely. Now, this is just my personal experience, but maybe some of you can relate to it. So today we are going to just do it, okay? Because in order to get out of that state, you have to do something. And you might say, okay, let's do it, but what are we going to do? And then that's what happened to me. What am I going to do? Well, what I found out for myself is that walking is a great start in the beginning. So I found a lot of motivation for myself, calling myself a walk-on warrior. Now, this is another thing I always hated in my life. I hated any type of labels. I hated labeling myself because I always felt like imposter syndrome. But once I started to let go of that type of idea, I really embraced it, right? I was a walk-on warrior because no matter how bad I felt, no matter what my mind was doing, I was going to walk on. I was going to keep on. And that's what I think a warrior would do, okay? Now, walking to me, I think it's a physical activity that almost anyone can do. So if you want, you can join me and be a walk-on warrior, or you could possibly do something else. But the key here is to adjust whatever you're doing to your current state. And what do I mean by state? Well, when I was in my worst state, again, any action was a good action, okay? So just getting out of the bed, brushing my teeth, and washing my face was a great start. Even if I would have mindlessly got up and played some chess, that would have been good at my lowest state, okay? But once I started getting a little bit better, right, and I was walking, I had a ton of crazy thoughts in my head and I wasn't present, well, then I was like, okay, that's better than where I was at, but we have to keep on moving, and I had to start introducing presence into my walking, okay? So for instance, what I would do is I would start walking and I would notice my thoughts going crazy. So I started just repeating my mantras in my head. So I would just say that every day and every way I'm getting better and better. I just say it over and over and over again, you know. And I wouldn't say it the whole time, but you know, if I got in 5-10 minutes of it, there's 5-10 minutes of the day that I don't have obsessive thoughts and I have a little bit of presence, because for some reason when you say these mantras, you know, it's like your brain goes on autopilot, is doing something, but yet you become aware. So anyways, for me, it really helped, okay? And so I was just bringing presence into my life while doing something. And that's kind of where I want to leave you at here today. Just do it. Do what? Well, I'm suggesting walking, okay? It can be whatever you want, but you know, if you need a suggestion, walking's easy, right? And adjust it based on your state. If you are in the absolute beginning and you know you are, just get out for that walk, and doing that is enough. But if you are a little bit further along in the journey, you know, maybe you weren't at the rock bottom I was at, et cetera, then when you go out there, try to have some mindfulness while you walk, okay? Because that ultimately is our goal, right? We want to be present with our activities. We want to be here when we're doing our activities. This is what's going to enable us to do greater things. So if you found today's video useful, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. I think that's what people always say. If you don't find it useful, you can also, you know, hit the dislike button, of course, but I would appreciate it if you told me why. And anything you might want to see or hear from me, just hit in the comments. And then earlier today, I released a video from a close acquaintance of mine, and I'm wondering what you guys thought of it, if you liked that video or not. Basically, I made a lot of that using AI generators, of course. You know, I've been telling you guys I like using DALL-E, things like that for art. So let me know what you think about that, and otherwise, have a great day.